All right. The CIAH radio. Does anyone see me out there? Do you hear me? Are you plugged in IAAH radio? I'm live now. I'm JudgeDesire for Knowledge. Come check me out every Saturday at 3 right here for Know Your Truth Real Talk. Okay, so I'm ready to see if we got caught in. Indeed. Great. All right. So on this special edition, thanks. This special edition of Know Your Truth Real Talk. Let me see if I can give you a beautiful view of the background. We're going to talk about relationships. If you've noticed, I've always had on relationships on videos. If you go check that out on my channel here now, I have on relationships as a show where I talk about people relationships of um, different types. So when you go check that out on my channel, you'll see which one relates or resonates with you. Check it out. If you want to, please share, like, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy them. But today's on relationships is about something very interesting: how counterfeit counterparts are in place to keep your actual counterpart from you. Have anyone ever realized that sometimes you may not be, or you found out you weren't with the right person and the timing was off and it wasn't that one? That's what I'm talking about, the counterfeit. Um, so when you're thinking about things like this, do you think about why you encountered these type of people instead that didn't match up to the type of partnership you expected? Those are counterfeits. In the end, it's usually a facade. Some will reel you in for as long as they want to. Some um, very temporary, in and out. And so on this edition of, I should say, episode of this on relationships, counterfeit versus counterparts, counterfeit counterparts versus counterparts. Got it? So hang in there with me. I'm just getting back on. Where's my water? Hold on. All right. I had to get my water. So I try to bring everything I can to make people aware of exactly why it's not, the best interest for you to rush into things if you want a real relationship. If you want to fake one, you rush into it, and it is what it is. But basically, what I'm trying to state today is sometimes we get into relationships and at the end we find out it's a facade. Some of us, it takes years to figure it out, unfortunately, and that was not the person that was sent for you in this lifetime. So the person, usually, that that isn't the type of person for you, it would be someone that's concealing their feelings, personality, or situations just to reel you in. Those are the types I'm talking about. Underlying their insecurities, mostly um, their unhappiness, turns into um, something that affects you all in a relationship. So, in other words, the facade wears off. You can lie as much as you want, um, play the game as much as you want. I have that as well. Go check that out. Games people play. That should set you off on what I'm talking about. But this one is individualized because this show is specifically about the counterfeit counterparts and versus the counterparts, the actual real counterparts. So basically, if you're in a relationship or not, or you're looking for one in the future, this might help you in some way. Look into whether you are with the right person or you're looking for the right person. Basically, this is just my opinion. These aren't facts, but I've done some research. Basically, I've seen it through family, friends, and colleagues, at work, in the workplace, because, like, my workplace brings all type of relationships there, the courts, and so you're going to see everything: family situations, children's situation, relationship situations, criminal situations, all dealing with family or relationships, period. So I base all of that, I combine it and bring it all together, and I create my content. Certain subjects, if it comes up, I'll go, let me just create this because I've seen it. So this is one of them. So when we're looking at a real counterpart, I'm going to label under the real counterpart their characteristics that you would find in one if it's your real counterpart. So listen up. Their characteristics if it's a real counterpart for you. Now we're going to talk about accountability under a real counterpart. When mistakes are made, they own up to it. They apologize with changed behavior. They're not coming forceful. They're not being mean. They realize their mistakes and they're coming to you for real. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I honestly made a mistake because it's going to happen. That doesn't mean no mistakes is going to happen because you have your actual counterpart. No, people make mistakes. It's how you take those steps during the mistakes to see how you handle it. And then you'll know if that's a counterfeit. Well, that's one of the characteristics, how you'll know if it's a counterfeit counterpart or an actual real counterpart. And we're going to go on to authentic emotion. Now, this is important. With a real counterpart, their authentic emotions would be they express feelings with truth openly without manipulation, and their affections are steady and transparent, which means that they're real. They're going to show you who they are. Yes, we all make mistakes, but they're not going to. You're not going to have to worry about, wow, do I know if they care about me? Do they like me? Blah blah blah. No, they're transparent. Their affections will show that, not manipulation. And we'll get to why you'll know the difference between manipulation and transparency in a few. The next characteristic for a real counterpart is respectful communication. Now, if you have a counterpart that knows disagreements don't lead to emotional warfare, when you're arguing, it doesn't lead to, um, and they actually lead to fireworks and they actually listen to you, you can debate, okay? Because there's going to always be, even trade, debate is more likely better than just arguing. They'll listen and value your perspective more if they're your actual true counterpart. The next characteristic is called consistency. You know, their words match their actions and they show up mentally, physically, and emotionally, which is very important. If they're consistent in doing a thing, that person is most likely your counterpart. They're consistent in loving you. They're consistent in being there for you. They're consistent in being by your side. It's not an ego trip. It's not about them. It's about both of you. 50-50, not one-sided is what I meant to say. So that's considered consistency. The next one characteristic on a real counterpart would be about mutual growth. They want both partners to thrive. Just like I said, both of you thrive together, not just for the relationship to look good, but to be good. Okay. Another characteristic is for a real counterpart. When you're looking or you want to know if this is a real counterpart, check their accountability. When they are make mistakes, they own up to it. And like I said, they apologize when they are wrong. And that's accountability. If someone can account for their mistakes in a relationship, that's growth. They want to grow with you. They do not want having, what you see nowadays, people don't work hard on themselves or their relationships. If you're not going to work hard on you, how are you going to have a relationship though? You don't care about yourself. How are you going to care about other people? So the first thing is working on yourself, in my opinion, will help you grow so that you'll know how to work with other people, including in a relationship that's intimate. Some people take it, relationships not as serious, but you know what? Let's say you don't, and then you marry this person and it's a counterfeit counterpart. What do you do then? You're stuck with it? Maybe not. You look at divorce. Oh, there's always divorce. Yeah, but you know what? If you have children, that's an obligation. Not that you need to stay there with children. Go check games people play on Parenthood too. I got that out there. And but it's a little harder and stressful on the children as well. So you got to go through that because you didn't listen, learn, and work on yourself. So when you work on yourself, then there's no need for you to have to work on someone else. They're already going to be worked on because you're going to make the right choices. So that's what I call accountability. A real counterpart with accountability is definitely a mutual growth. Like I just said, they want both partners to thrive, not just for the relationship to look good, but to be good. Those are people that want growth. So that's when you have worked on yourself. And everyone needs to work on this. So don't tell me, oh, I don't need to work on myself. I like who I am, but does anybody like you? Maybe not, maybe so. But if you're not feeling good about yourself inside out, you never have good relationships with other people, whether it's an intimate or otherwise. These are reading to you something's wrong, and we all get there. It's going to be okay. No one could say they haven't been there. I've been there. It's called growth. You have to see it, acknowledge it, and take it in. And once you take it in, you say, you know what? I'm responsible for that. Or I'm responsible for this. But if you don't take accountability and responsibility, how can you grow into relationships with other people? Is beyond me. We've seen such toxic relationships out here. Just the other day, I read in the state I live in. I won't mention it, but you probably all know there was a murder by a sugar daddy who a female was married to a gentleman, I guess. I was hoping that would have been his counterpart, but she had a sugar daddy on the side paying her bills. So he killed her, the husband, and the child, which is horrible. See, these toxic relationships can be avoided if we just take it seriously that people are sick in the head sometimes. People are possessive. There's people that even if you don't see them, they're doing things behind the scenes. You hear all this stupid stuff going on with witchcraft, black magic, all this stuff. People are really not, it's true. These people are sick in the head enough to believe in this stuff. So I know it's true, but I don't believe in it. I know people are stupid enough to do it, but this is why we have to take ourselves seriously. And the relationships out here are so toxic nowadays that this is the reason why we're not taking accountability and we're not maturely growing within ourselves and working on us, that we have to do things like this. So that was a sad story, and I pray for that child family. It's sad when you bring a child in and that child has to pay for your consequences. So remember that when you have children, or you're going to have children with a person that is your counterpart and they end up being a counterfeit, be very careful having children with that. I know it's easily said than done, but then lock it up, wrap it up, do whatever you need to do. Basically, abstinence is the best thing, but that's not believable here ever. So I just had to say, whatever you need to do, just make sure that you bring children into it. It's a shamble if you're not taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally to move forward. All right, so another characteristic in the real counterpart to look for is security. For a real counterpart, security would be you feel at peace among them, the love feels safe and not like a guessing game. All right, so have you ever been in a relationship where it felt like it was a guessing game? I wonder when they're going to call me. I wonder where they are. I wonder if they're really real, or were they telling me the truth. That's not good. That's insecurity. So a real counterpart does not bring this to the table. They bring security. You feel at peace around them. The love feels safe and not like and it's not a guessing game. Who wants to live their life with someone that you have to guess if they're in sleep or in bed with somebody else, because you never hear from them, they're in and out. It's horrible. No one wants to, that's why I see a lot of people are single now. But and I don't blame them. Work on yourself while you're single. You don't have to be out there with the whole wide world just because you don't want an intimate relationship with one person. Because I see people say, I like being single. Single is not, some people aren't, and it's not my business, but I'm just saying, putting it out there. They are not, they're still out there having sex with many and multiple people, which is your business. But wear yourself down inside out. Go ahead if you choose to. But don't forget that you carry all those energies to the next person and to yourself. It's disgusting, but some people think that by saying they're single, that they're not out there. Um, what's the word? Oh, I'm looking for the word right now. Celibate. But some single people are celibate, and that's beautiful, because this way you're growing inside for the right counterpart, the real counterpart. When you're out there chasing, some women, we don't have to chase. Some men, they don't have to chase. When you out there chasing the whole wide world saying you're single because you like having multiples, you're a chaser. You like chasing, you take gambles, and it's not a good thing. But for some people, they feel it is their mental status is, that's who I want to be. I know for those singles that are celibate, you're doing the right thing because you're working on your inner self. You're going to find the counterpart, the real actual one. Believe me. Sometimes it may not happen right away. Sometimes it may look like it's never going to happen, but you taking your time, it should. So we are now on the last one was security. You feel at peace around them. These are real counterpart characteristics. And the love feels safe, not like a guessing game, which I just mentioned. In essence, a real counterpart does not complete you. No, they complement you. Together, you create that up, you create what uplifts each other's soul. So that's how you're going to know. And I never saw it this way, but now I used to say, you complete me, but no, we complement each other. This way, you're both using the scales, laws of scales, scales of law, and you're weighing it and you're coming to an agreement together that you both balance each other out, right? Law scale, you balance each other out. And that's a real counterpart when you both think the same way about each other. Whereas a counterfeit counterpart, let's explain their characteristics. All right. So, the characteristic of a counterfeit counterpart, look out for this. All right. Charms without depth. Let's see what that means. They often come off strong at first, like I was saying earlier, love bombing, telling you all the things you want to hear, but not genuine about it. And their action never shows, it always shows otherwise. When you see someone say something and it's the other thing, be careful with that. A lot of people think that that's okay and that's cool. It's not cool. Your action has to match your words or shut up. I mean, I'm not being mean, but it's true. Shut up. If it doesn't match, don't say it. Just be quiet because I don't like to hear people action and not see it. I mean, I hear people talk and not see it. The same thing in a relationship. If it doesn't match what they're saying and it always shows otherwise, be very careful about that because that's a counterfeit counterpart. Now, in characteristic, again, with a counterpart, inconsistencies, okay, because they're not consistent, right? So, inconsistencies, their emotions change depending on what they want or what they're looking for. So, basically, their characteristic is I'm going to base my emotion on this right now because this is what I'm looking for in you: money, sex, control, whatever the case may be. That is called inconsistency because they're going to go with what their emotions are based on what they're looking for, not you. So that's how you know this is a counterfeit counterpart. It's not about you, it's about them. All right. Another characteristic of a counterfeit counterpart is lack of empathy, which is they dismiss or minimize your feelings. In other words, you're good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, in other words, lack of empathy. Most of them don't have empathy towards anything, not even themselves. They lack it. They don't know what it is. So, counterfeit counterparts, they always dismiss or minimize your feelings. So, if you feel that there's something wrong in a situation where they don't empathize with you or give you the needed time and for yourself, think about that. Your feelings are just as important as them. Sometimes their feelings are more important. If their feelings are more important than yours, then that's a red flag, I have to say. And so that's a lack of empathy, which leads to a counterfeit counterpart. Now, another characteristic of a counterfeit counterpart is instability. All right. The relationship feels like a roller coaster, existing but draining at the same time, passionate but also painful. Now, if you're going through that, that's not an actual counterpart because you're not domestic violence, things like that. People that step on you, spit on you, things like that. I mean, willingly do it because they want to, and then apologize later. That's something that is done, you know, how do I say it? Domestic violence is domestic violence, but it's purposefully done. Purposefully done is different than if it was a mistake or you turned around and someone got hit by mistake. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something that's done out of character. So that characteristic of emotion, of lack of empathy, is a part of that as well. Where You feel the relationship is a roller coaster, exciting, draining, passionate, but also painful. That's very serious. That's when you need to see, okay, why am I in this relationship? This is not my person. This is a counterfeit. So that is that on instability relationship. If you feel unstable in that relationship, you most likely will for the rest of your life. And then there's the characteristic of a counterfeit counterpart is emotional manipulation. They use silence, guilt, and affection and withdrawal to control the outcome. So if you're in a relationship where they use just the silence, guilt, or whatever to withdraw to control the outcome with their affections, then you know that this is mass manipulation. It's called emotional manipulation here, but I call it mass because some people do all those things. And then you know the manipulation process has started there in that relationship. So usually when you see these type of signs, get out before it's too late. This is a counterfeit counterpart. And with that being said, we got a lot of them out here that they do emotional manipulation in relationships and marriages. Sometimes we marry a counterfeit. Um, I know I did. Prior to my marriage now, I did marry a counterfeit. And some of us are going to reach that extent so that we can see what we're going to do there. Are we going to stay with that? Do you deserve that? Or do you deserve better? Some of us we didn't know, you have to learn, you have to give yourself time, you have to think think about what it is that you want to do. Some people are still in a counterfeit relationship or marriage because that's all they know, that's all they want, that's the person they've been with, or they like, I don't think they like suffering, but I mean, if I'm suffering enough, I'm out. That's it. For me, I'll work on it, but if it's too much of a work, as we said, in the emotional manipulation and the instability, relationship feels like a roller coaster all the time, I gotta go. Amicably or by myself, but with no harm. Bye, take care. Hope never to see you again. Good luck. Because that's me. I can keep friendships, but I choose to close doors. It works really good for some of us. Some of us don't know how to just shut those doors. I have a show on that as well. I have over 300 now. I think I'm on 301 or 302 today. Go check them out. But how to close those doors, because sometimes they have to be closed for you to go meet that right person, meet that real, actual counterpart, and get rid of the counterfeit and never looking back. So if that person was a counterfeit, what do you need to be friends with them for? Why do you need a trickster, a fake, a liar, a manipulator for as a friend? Who wants that? No, we got to wake up. You're too good for that. You leave them, close those doors, and keep them locked, closed. If you have children with them, they have a right to their children, but they don't have a right to you. That's where it ends. Some people get it twisted. I don't understand why they think they still have to talk, feel, and be with somebody just because they had a child with them. If it's not working and they're a mass manipulator, liar, and you kept this going, and you realize this is not your counterpart, just because you have children don't mean you have to stay with them. Please, ladies. Please, gentlemen. Mm-mm. Not for the children's sake if it's really that bad. Toxic, I should say. There's no need to stay there, seriously. And I'm not telling anyone to leave their husbands and wives and anything, but think it through, what's better for you. Work through counseling if you can. Get marriage counseling, relationship counseling, whatever you think you need. But I'm just here giving you my opinion, my direct truth. And that's why this show is called Know Your Truth, Real Talk. You bring your truth, I'll bring mine, and we debate it and we discuss it together and we come to a resolution of it. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Just wanted to say that. Hi, AAH Radio with the best DJs and the best music in town. Go check them out on IAAH Radio. It's all about house.com. Got DJ 5 a.m. DJ Bugging Hard with road trip sessions out there. My hubby, he got it going on. He's on YouTube too, Twitter, Mixcloud. Also, there's House of Jonya Radio as well, but I'm with IAAH Radio right now. If you want to hear me out on Saturdays at 3 and you can't see me visually, come check me out on that channel. Of course. All right, let's get back to this. All right, so now we're still talking about the characteristics of a counterfeit counterpart. Um, the, the blame and projections, they're good at that. They avoid accountability and make you feel responsible for their wrongs. Now, that is called blame and projection. And that's a lot of manipulation right there, where people play games. As I have my other show, I told you go check that video out. Games people play. I have 3 series out there: marriage, parenthood, and the dating game. Go check that out. It's, you from the what? Oh yeah. Thank you for the shout out. Oh, you're welcome. Of course, baby. All right. So, with that blame and projection, they avoid accountability and make you feel responsible for their wrongs. So everything that they do wrong, they're blaming you. Um, they out there sleeping with other people. They blame you. Oh, if you was to give me this or do this for me, I wouldn't have had to go out there. That's the biggest lame excuses I've ever heard. That's not your person. That's the counterfeit counterpart. So be wary of things that where people use you to feel responsible for what their wrongs were, because counterfeit counterpart mimics love to gain something. They like to see what you like and then act as if that that it's them. So whatever you like, I've said in another show, they'll counteract that. Oh wait, yeah, that's what I like too. Then they'll try to be exactly what you tell them you like because they don't know how to. When they have no feelings and emotions inside, how you gonna know how to act? You don't. So you use people. You mimic them. You see what they like. You know, turn the roles around, whichever sex, a male or female, it doesn't matter. They all do it. Both sexes, none is better or different from the other. Well, a little bit, but we'll see about that. But a real counterfeit is good for them consistently doing what doesn't align with you. So they like to gain attention a lot, resources, status, but the connection is hollow, you know? Love is a transaction for them, not a transformation. Like I was saying earlier, we need to transform how and work on ourselves. Working on yourself is transformation, not a transaction. For counterfeit counterpart, a transaction is always going to be something about what they can get out of it, right? Your money, your time, your assets, if possible, your money, sex, whatever it is. It could be minimum. It's always getting something out of you that they can get anywhere else, but they're going to get it out of you as well on multiple people. Those are counterfeits. If they're with other people all the time or dating others and with or without your consent or even choose to, that's not your counterpart. Until they wake up, obviously, and see, wait a minute, why was I doing this? Yeah, that could be a possibility, but most likely no. Um, Whereas they use you as a transaction. Okay. So be careful of those people that come in and then when they see you're paying child support or you got financial problems, they're not talking to you. And then as soon as you free yourself from all kinds of issues, back debt and stuff like that, and you're winning, here they come running in, all these exes. Hello. Hey, hi. Oh, you're doing better now. Gee, be careful how much information you give to people, actually, period. I walk in silence. I walk in justice and I walk in silence because the best thing to do is keep your business to yourself. Not everybody's your friend, not everybody cares about you or likes you, and not everybody's for you. So it's not about being paranoid, it's about being safe. Um, this is not the same type of world we lived in growing up. It's worse. And so you got to protect yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally too, because it's a lot of sick people out there because they haven't taken care of themselves. Well, with that being said, well, the connection's usually hollow for counterfeit counterparts, and like we said, they're about transaction, not transformation. Whereas a real counterpart is a genuine partner, someone whose loves, intentions, and actions align with each other consistently, not when it's necessary, and they build the connection from sincerity, mutual respect and shared growth. So basically, this is important for you to have that type of relationship with someone. This is how a real counterpart is. Those are the ones that want to share growth, mutual respect for one another, sincerity. People do have honesty. Not everybody's a liar. All right. And as we were saying, a counterfeit counterpart imitates love but lacks its essence. Their attention and affection is often served as a self interest, such as validation, control, image, or convenience. Like I said, they always are in it for convenience. It's all about them. So be very careful about that. And to summarize that part of the characteristics, I just wanted to add that a real counterfeit loves from within their affections bring stability and joy. Okay, they love from within. A counterfeit counterpart loves you from emptiness. Their attention feeds their ego and control. So know the differences between that. All right, that's very important. So now I'm going to go with those were the characteristics. Now I'm going to go with the differences and break it down through each characteristics of a new genre of words that I'm going to use right now, and listen carefully. All right. So we're going to concentrate you till they break it. Yeah, that's true. Counterpart. Yes, very true. I believe that too. Until they break it. Right. Anyway, let's move on to the differences between a real counterpart, and counterfeit counterparts. We were showing the characteristics of them, and now here goes um, another set of words I want to use when it comes to intentions. A real counterpart generally rooted in mutual respect. They always rooted in mutual respect. When it comes to a counterfeit counterpart, their intentions are self-serving and manipulative. Sorry about that. Next one word I'm going to use is truth. So a real counterpart, let's talk about a real counterpart. When it comes to truth, they're transparent. When it comes to a counterfeit counterpart, their truth is fabricated or hidden. See, my phone just confirmed it. And then when we're talking about consistency, a real counterpart is predictable, emotionally reliable. And when it comes to consistency with a counterfeit counterpart, they're hot and cold and always in and out and very confusing. So, like I said earlier, when they're in and out, and when it's convenient for them, you become the transaction and not, they don't transform. They just stay the same way. You could have met someone years ago and then come back later, they're still the same person. Have you ever done that? Yeah, we all have. We've seen them, they haven't changed, right? No, and they're not going to, some of us. Thank God for those that can change. That's a blessing. Growth is always going to be great. Oh, matter of fact, the next one is growth. When talking about growth, a real counterpart grows and evolves together. And a counterfeit counterpart, one partner benefits, the other diminishes. So when you see you're diminishing and the other part is benefiting from you, that's not growth. All right, don't forget that. And the next is on communication. When for a real counterpart, communication is honest and kind, and for a counterfeit counterpart, deceptive and defensive. If they're deceptive and defensive all the time, that you don't even know you're going around in a roller coaster, you're on a ride all the time, that is a counterfeit counterpart. So be careful about that. They are deceptive and defensive, always backing up. Oh my God, I can't this, I can't that. Whatever the scenario is, they're going to defend. They're very defensive all the time. So you can't get them out of it because they're not honest and kind like the real counterpart. When it comes to emotional impact, a real counterpart is peaceful, secure. When it comes to a counterfeit counterpart, it leaves you anxious and drained. Yeah, when you feel drained, know that there's a problem there afterward. Like, oof, this person's a lot of work. I don't know if I could stay here. you know, those kinds of things. Not the kind of relationships do take a lot of work, but we're just talking about consistency. Every time they come in, they got an issue. They're long-winded, or they're and that's it. That's all you get out of them. Yeah, be careful of those type of people. Yeah, for sure. Um, Now, when it comes to love language, with a real counterpart, they're nurturing and patient. And when it comes to love language with a counterfeit counterpart, it's always fabricated and hidden intentions. So be careful about that, because the key difference here is a real counterpart reveals love and a counterfeit counterpart acts love. They don't reveal love, they act. They're very good actors and actresses, these counterfeits. So you will actually believe in them. Some people stay years in friendships and stuff like that, and in marriages with people like this, or sometimes it ends before the marriage begun. But the point is, when you figure it out, it's your time to figure it out. It's just to be aware of it. It's better to be aware of things like this so that you don't, waste your time here. Time is money. Money is time. Everything isn't money. What I mean is time, effort. No one wants to waste time here and be with waste of people that waste your space, waste your time, waste your energy, or your money, or whatever here to take from you and never give. It's sickening. So you should think, as all in general, we should think better of ourselves and know that these type of people, you'd rather stay celibate and single, or you just wait until a relationship for you works, and then you check that out and see if that's for you or not for you. But uh, have the ability to think, not just be swooped up by anybody's facade or mask that they put on, stating that they're the one. Oh, I've never had no one like you. Yes, you did. You've had many. It's simple. It's really not easy, but it's simple when you take the time to do it. Um, in the end, it's all a test sent to awaken you, actually. And if you don't want to learn from your mistakes, you will repeat the cycle over and over with many counterfeit counterparts most of your lifetime till the lesson is learned. So don't ask why you never found that special someone or got married, or if you let that special one go. If you choose to repeat the cycle without recognizing the differences between the two. So hopefully this show helped you see that if you are in for a real honest and serious relationship, because not everyone wants a relationship. I'm just talking to those serious out here. It takes time. It's not a rush situation. Um, Even if you're 90, it takes time. You may not think you have time, or you're 40 and you want children. It's going to be worth the time to wait for it, because if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. Why rush it? Just because you're going to have children, or you need to have children at a certain time. It's little things like that that we run into these little, I'm alone, I'm going to be a senior citizen by myself. Little things like this. I hope this show shows you that if you want a real honest and serious relationship, it takes time, and it's not a rush situation. Okay. You must learn to decipher the actual counterpart from the counterfeit counterpart. So, excuse me? You're absolutely right. Uh, uh, uh. Change your mind and change your circumstance. That's a good one. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you here as I come to this conclusion. I just concluded this show, this episode. To me, it was something that needed to be said on counterparts, real, actual counterparts, and the counterfeit counterparts. So know the differences. And when you're in a relationship with someone, no one's better than no one, but you are better to know that you want better for yourself, right? So why not consider that and take the time out for yourself to make the right choices and make sure you do not end up with the counterfeit. Because, like I said, they're in place there for a reason, to prevent you from getting to the real counterpart. And that real counterpart and you are going to definitely be um, in sync, aligned. Everything works together. Your marriage, your relationship, it's going to be like, wow, where were you my whole life? That is an actual counterpart. The counterfeit is just there to waste your time. So this is why I said, if you feel like you're in a relationship like that, or you're not in any relationship just look out for those things. Like I said, this is not facts. This is my opinion, based on a lot of education, work experience, personal experience from other people, myself, and colleagues. We could go on, family, friends. And I just put my contents together based on that when I do on relationships. And most of my content is based on experience. So things that you want to help other people get through because you don't want them to go through what you went through or what you saw other people go through. That's what my channel's about. So if you're interested, please like, share, and subscribe. We can teach other people how to basically be more positive mindseted, empowered, self-aware, have self-love and self-care for themselves enough that they don't make mistakes. We all are going to make mistakes, but not one that are detrimental to our health, our life, our finances, things that people come and take, steal, and kill and destroy. And when I say kill your spirit, I'm not saying physically, destroy your mind, and then they steal it all from you. That's just like the enemy. They come to kill, steal, and destroy. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let a counterfeit counterpart ruin the rest of your life and take you away from the actual person that's supposed to be there. They are only placeholders at the time. Um, they only here to hold that place for your real counterpart to come. So just look at it like this. I may not be there yet, but that person was a placeholder. They weren't my person. And with that being said, I'm just Desire for Knowledge here on Know Your Truth, Real Talk. Got my gavel out today, bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth. I will see you on the next episode. It is adjourned. Know Your Truth, Real Talk. I'll see you guys next week, Saturday. I might not be live, but I'll be there. Ciao. Like, share, and subscribe. See you there.